there, I'm Beverly Sartain, and this is the Holistic Coach Legacy Podcast, where you get support in being an impactful and confident coach. In today's episode, we are wrapping up a 6-part series where we've been taking you through an actual coaching program. This is a done-for-you program that we have created called the Holistic Wellbeing Routine Program. And the intention behind this specific program is that you support somebody in reaching their outcome through the 4 levels: the mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. If you would like the done-for-you scripts to this program, you can get them by signing up for our Holistic Coach Business Startup course. This program is actually a bonus as part of that course, and we would love to have you enjoy both of those. So here we go. We're going to listen to how to wrap up a coaching program. I hope you enjoy this very, very much. Thank you for being here. Welcome back, Mary. So good to be with you again for our final session here around the holistic well-being routine.
Thank you, Beverly. It's good to be back.
Yes, it's good to see you again. This is our wrap-up session for the holistic well-being routine. And so, the intentions behind today's session is just to look back on the ground that we've covered together and see what learnings have been had, and to talk about some next steps. So how does that sound?
That sounds wonderful.
Awesome. So generally speaking, we do some sort of reassessment here. So when you think about the wheel and you think about the 4 levels, the mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical, we want to do some sort of reassessing of what's been covered. So for you, what will be the best fit? A couple ideas are that we can go through and rate again, if having some sort of number rating would be helpful to you. Or we can go through each of the levels again and talk about learnings that you've had around each of those levels as they pertain to being a stronger leader. Or we could use this session to close out or wrap up in some other way that feels useful to you. So what do you think?
Actually, the first thing that comes to my mind is going through each one and seeing, because like a number for me doesn't really feel like enough for me.
Okay.
So I think if we went through each one to kind of just talk about like my journey, I guess, and where I'm sitting. Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's why I ask, because everyone's different and everybody receives something different from, the different ways of doing it. So I greatly, greatly appreciate that for you. Going back to the number doesn't feel as useful as talking through the learnings. So yes. I feel you on that. So we've got the 4 levels of mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. And we can talk through those and see what learnings come forward for you, and talk about next steps as well. So what would be helpful to talk about in regards to the learnings?
Actually, just kind of reflecting, I just feel like I learned so much after each one of our sessions, not only about myself, but just like the process. And there were a lot of different things that came up when, obviously between our sessions. And I think the biggest learning for me was when I was going down a different direction, like like, for instance, the first one that speaks to me is the physical. Mm-hmm. I was going through this physical change in my body where I was feeling, like on top of things, feeling really healthy and great. And then as I was digging deeper, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually,
Mm-hmm.
it's like my body changed and I started to experience a lot of like health issues. And it was like, what in the world is like, I started getting migraines more than ever before. Certain things were coming forward. And at first, initially, um, I was taken back by it.
Mm.
But then going back and rediscovering, like our conversations and what I've learned from you, it's okay. These things are coming forward because you still need to heal something, some unresolved issue, whatever. Um, and I don't think that I know, I shouldn't even say I don't think, I know that I would not have that awareness had we not gone through this process.
Mm.
So,
That's great.
and today I feel I'm in such a healthier place. But this last week and the week, well, starting last Thursday, I guess, or Friday, was the pivotal moment for me. I wasn't doing well, and I can see where certain people, even that I know personally, would fall into a deep depression or, not
Mm-hmm.
want to get out of bed and I can't do this anymore. And I wasn't that person. I knew that these things were happening to me to learn from them,
Mm-hmm.
to rediscover myself and go, okay, let's stop and think about this. And you need to just keep putting it, for me, it's putting it in God's hands. And then I was reflecting back. So it goes back to my spiritual side. Okay, so I wasn't digging as deep as I was before. So now it's like, okay, Mary, get back into your normal routine. I mean, I was still doing things, but it wasn't at the level that I was at before. So I really recognized each one of these levels and definitely learned from them.
That's incredible. Just acknowledging all of your insights, acknowledging the awareness and perspective that you chose, and acknowledging you for leaning into your faith, which I know is really important to you.
Hmm. Yeah, thank you.
Really beautiful that all that came forward for you. It's amazing, this that mind body connection that is truly there, and that's why I love this holistic approach so much, because it's one thing to say like I want to be a stronger leader, and then when you think about what needs to be true on the mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical level for me to actually be that leader, there is almost like an internal upgrade that
Hmm.
has to happen, which is what I was thinking of when you were talking. Like
Yeah.
there's like an upgrade that's happening, and you're stepping up energetically into, a new way of being or a new way of operating, so that you can be that true leader that you want to be. What comes up for you when I share all that?
Oh my goodness. That just makes my heart sing because I, that just puts things in perspective. I started to have that voice. Like I wasn't afraid. Like when I wasn't feeling well, I actually was at lunch with my husband and I said, like, I don't normally do this, but like you need to get out of the car and go back to work because I need to go home. I just like I didn't that sounds really bad, but it wasn't like I was being rude, but it was like really honing in on what I was feeling and not being afraid to say it. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not here to hurt your feelings, but like our lunch needs to end now because I'm not feeling well and I just want to go home and rest.
Mhm.
And um, somebody had asked me my opinion on some things, and I just like was very much of a leader in that, um, validating the importance of feeling valued. There's a woman that I'm coaching, and she's in a new relationship, and she's afraid of like going back into the way things used to be. And I started to share about, my opinion of value, and when relationships don't feel valued, and then they start falling apart. And so it was like, I felt like, on one hand, like what you just said about stepping up in this new way, that's totally what came forward. I was no longer feeling afraid to have that opinion or share my feelings. And if it didn't resonate with you, that's okay. But you asked me my opinion, and now I'm giving it to you. Where
Mhm.
before I would never allow myself to do that, because I was always afraid of, oh, I'm not smart enough, I'm not good enough, and all those lies, misunderstandings come forward.
Mhm.
And it was so beautiful that through all of this, um, you just hit the nail on the head. I mean, it's like up leveling. I had a lunch meeting with another potential client, and she asked about, and she's through my church, and she said, Mary, like, we need you to be in a leadership role. We need you to step up and pull people together, because there are so many people that just don't get it. And she was so complimentary, and I wasn't afraid to share my opinion again. And I was going to wait to the end, but it's just kind of exciting news, is
It
that she
is.
she asked me to reach out and start a small group of going through, because I was talking to her about how the importance is of our health, mentally, emotionally, physically, and
Yes.
spiritually. And so she said, would you lead a small women's group? And I said, okay, sure. I think, I don't know. And so she gave me a couple names. And so I emailed them, and both ladies that I reached out to said, absolutely, thank you so much for this. I'm looking forward to it. And we're starting in nature.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And I honestly, I don't think I would be where I am today had I not gone through this process, because
Mhm.
I really witnessed the learnings from every single one of these quadrants,
Yes.
and how important they are.
Yeah, they really do intertwine.
Hmm.
They're all intertwined, and the more we can give intention and attention on them, I think they start to work better together. So
Hmm.
that's fantastic news, Mary, that
Yeah.
you have this intention and attention on leadership. And here comes an opportunity your
Yeah.
way because of the work that you're doing on yourself. So that's fantastic news.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that with me.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
And what else needs to be acknowledged on the physical and the spiritual level? Because those were the two levels that you started with. Anything else there that needs to be acknowledged?
Um, no, I think I just need to just stay focused on it. I just know that, like, I witnessed and acknowledged this change, this up leveling that's happening with me, like, gone through this roller coaster ride, and how important it is. So now it's just staying focused on continuing to take time physically and spiritually, and all of them. But
Mhm.
yeah, definitely.
And for you, what's the connection between up leveling and leadership?
Um, I think it up leveling and leadership, they kind of intertwine each other too.
Mhm.
They I can't be that leader without going through this process. And um, and now I feel like I have a better um, definition, I guess, or idea of what a leader is. It's like just understanding. I'm not afraid to say I don't know something. And I find myself just looking at things differently. Even in my morning job, I've just expressed my voice differently without fear. I think that's the big thing. So it's like up-leveling internally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Up-leveling internally so I can be that external leader.
Yes. Yeah. Beautiful. And I'm hearing just so strongly how this piece about giving yourself a voice, sharing your opinion when somebody asks for it, just expressing yourself sounds really significant to you. How come?
Because I never had that before. I wasn't allowed to have it, because it was always the minute I would say something, whoever it was that I was talking to would interrupt me and either just take away the conversation to be about them, or they would basically poo-poo my idea. And it was like, well, what do you know about this? And so, or growing up, I had a father that said women should just shut their mouth because that's the best place for them. And so I always, I remember growing up, even as an adult, when I was connected with my dad, I still would not say anything. I would never have an opinion, because I knew it was that little inner child would be scared. And that was another thing that came up since the last time. My inner child, like 8, 9-year-old, and then teenager came out, which has never happened in my life. And so there was some healing that went on with that. And so expressing myself without fear is like the biggest accomplishment in my life. And I'm not done, girlfriend, because I am not done. I am on a mission, and I have a vision for the next year, and I'm going to do it.
Awesome. What's coming up around vision for you?
I'm going to be speaking in front of women that are afraid of having those voices. I just feel like whether it's in my church, whatever capacity, I don't know, I'm leaving it up to God to place that in my heart and direction in my life. But I just feel that I know that there are so many women that are behind me, and they need to be along my side or ahead of me.
Wonderful. So when you hear yourself saying all this, what do you think about it?
It makes me feel amazing, empowered, like I could stand on a stage and go, you've got this. You don't allow someone to shut your mouth. That's not okay. Somebody doesn't have to like your opinion, but you have an opinion. That's what makes us all different. It's like I'm constantly sharing that it's not about being like each other. It's about respecting each other. We're all different, and that's why, I talk openly about different religions. I mean, who am I to say you're right or wrong for who you believe in, or you don't have faith? That's your opinion. That's not up to me to judge. It's just accepting all of us where we are and who we are, just as ourselves. Because the world would be so much nicer if everybody would just be kind to each other and respect. Those are the two biggest things. And I want to be able to give people back their voices.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're like knocking my socks off here.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I met this lady I mean, I've known her for years, but it's like I've known her from a distance. And I'm just like shocked that she has been married for 50 plus years. She still doesn't feel valued. She doesn't have a voice. She's scared to death. And when I got done meeting with her, she hugged me and she said, Mary, I'm old and damn it, I am going to have a voice before I die because
Mm.
that is the message I want to leave for my kids. And you're going to help me.
It's powerful. Yeah, I
That was,
can feel your empowerment, Mary.
that was really huge for me.
Yeah. Well, it's all sounding like it's coming in clear and strong and confident.
Yeah. It's crazy, but it's very true. And I just see how things are falling in. But again, it's doing it and allowing it to organically happen. Excuse me a second.
Mm-hmm.
I went to drink water and went down the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's when all of these things were happening to me, like I said in the beginning, it's easy for people to fall down when they feel down. But it's having the strength to trust the process, go through it, and get back up and go, okay, whew, that's done. Now I got to get back up and do whatever else, or just sit in silence and wait for the next step to come along. And I know that part of me was trying too hard to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I laugh at myself this morning because in my morning reading, it was reflecting about how I needed to stop trying to control it. And then it said, make a list of all the things that you're trying to control. And like, oh, was I really doing that? Yeah, I guess I was.
It's a
So,
great strategy.
right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, it's making a list of all the things that you think that you need to control, instead of just trusting the process.
Mm.
So
Beautiful.
yeah.
So you mentioned the spiritual and the physical level, and I'm curious about what has shifted for you on the emotional and mental levels.
um, well, those two is really being honest with my emotions, and how those two go hand in hand as well, because also growing up where, you know, you don't cry, you don't share your emotions, just suck it up and get over it. And um, I would have a good cry and then get over it. But now, through this last few weeks, I have really explored more of that confidence of having that positive self talk, but not being afraid to share my emotions and explaining the why. Like, I'm feeling this way because, and it being okay to share that. Um, so it's the mental mindset and the emotion, um, but yet also taking time for myself, like taking time, um, like yesterday, for instance, I had a migraine, and instead of laying down, I just started meditating, and I listened to a meditation, and I went outside in my yard, and poof, it was gone. So taking and being aware of what's going on and taking action on it. And I didn't do that before. So that was really huge. So really, really intentional about my journaling and taking time for my emotional health and my mental, um, with May being Mental Health Awareness Month,
Mm-hmm.
I've really been tapping into that, just even for myself, taking more time to read something that I want to do and it be okay. Nope, I'm not going to cook dinner for 2 more hours because I'm going to go on the back deck and I'm going to read my book. That's what I'm doing. And I wouldn't have done that before.
So
So,
sounds like listening to your own voice, following your
yeah.
own internal voice.
hmm
What's that doing for you?
It's empowering me. It's creating that leader inside. And literally, like I'm really, really aware of that because there was a time when um, I had to get up in front of a bunch of people at a meeting and share something. Now, if it's me putting something on and I'm asking you to come forward, I'm not as nervous when I'm talking to a group of people. But if you ask me to say something in front of a bunch of people that I don't know, for whatever reason, I would get extremely nervous. I get so tongue tied and I just couldn't do it. And I'm aware of that. And I see a shift in that. What things, people, and things that I used to be afraid of, I'm not. I'm not afraid at all. I'm open to whatever is next. And I'm excited about it. And I needed to go through this whole process in order to get there. Um, it's like when people compare themselves to other people. Oh yeah, well look at where he or she is. And I used to do that. Um, and if it comes up where I find myself doing that, I'm like, no, stay in your own lane. Great friend Beverly told you that. Stay in your own lane and just be the authentic you. And when I say that, and my actions are that keeps empowering me to be that leader.
Fantastic. So many incredible insights
Yeah.
and awareness. I mean, really, it's really remarkable. So what would you say has been your most favorite part of the coaching process?
I think it amazes me how I think, oh yeah, I don't have a clue what I'm going to talk about today. I don't know. Like, I don't see it necessarily in myself until you make me aware of it through your questions. And then all of a sudden, it's like I have this aha moment inside of me. And it's like, it just comes out. But that has been just remarkable, this journey, and looking at these 4 very important areas and how each one works with the other, and the importance, like one isn't more important than the
Mm-hmm.
other, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's such a great insight. It's so easy to put more emphasis on certain levels. But the more that we can have the levels working together in harmony, really, the more confident, empowered we will feel. So
Yes.
I really appreciate you acknowledging that. Um, and I know that you and I are going to continue because we're going to coach on a healing roadmap. So I'm excited about that. So we have some next steps that we're going to do together in terms of that. But I'm curious about what next steps you might take to continue this momentum that you've created around the 4 levels and being a leader.
Well, the next step is that I've pulled together a group of these ladies, and I'm not sure how many are right now. I think there's 5 maybe. Um, and so we're meeting next week, and I have asked them, well, I briefly brought it up in my email, but now that they've committed, that said that they would want to do this, my goal is to just put myself out there as that leader so they can get to know, like, and trust me, and um, and then go through. We're going to start in nature, and meet with these ladies, go through a process that I have outlined, and see where that leads me. I think I really feel in my heart that it's going to lead to something bigger, because one of the ladies, every year she puts something together towards like right before the holidays, and they're always looking for guest speakers, and I can see her, you know, like if she likes this, I could see her going, okay, we need to do this in a bigger platform. And that's my goal, because then I get to reach more women. Um, so that's one next step. Um, Second next step is to continue focusing on doing and practicing all of this stuff in a healthy way. Um, and taking next steps on preparing for more of the vision that I have, connecting with people. Um, I I love my podcast is really reaching to more people, and so that's another part of the platform and visionary that I have. And so I'm going to be posting more um, on Instagram to get business for women who have gone through divorce, and also people that want to share their starting over story.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Can I share my
Yes.
experience of this
Yeah.
moment?
Yes, please.
I'm just feeling you so confident and courageous right now. How do you receive that?
Thank you. Um, I receive it from my heart. I love it. I feel really good. You knew where I was earlier in the week and where I am today, and this was all way before our call, but it just amplified during our call, which is super cool.
It's a great word, amplify.
Yeah.
What do you see or feel when you tap into amplification?
Standing in front of a boatload of women and empowering them. It's like I'm amplifying.
Yes.
Like I just feel like that's so important. I think just because there's so many people that I used to be that person that oh yeah, they're better just by me looking, not knowing. And that's why I always say perspective is so important, because you don't know their story. You don't know where they came from. And nobody, like, if when I share even a teeny piece of my background, I even shared it recently with someone that knows very little of me, and they were shocked. Like, no way, you did not go through that. I'm like, yeah, I did. Because I'm not letting that define me. I'm using that as my, like, what I've healed through to empower other people. Like, heck, I look at this, if I can be where I am today, if I can help anybody, then heck, then I've served my purpose.
It's so great. Can I share something else that's coming in?
Yes, please.
I sense that you're finding your voice
Mm-hmm.
through your entrepreneurship experience.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
I am totally. This has been in. There's so many things that you have taught me as a coach and mentor. I can't thank you enough because I have found my voice because I've learned how to find it. You know, when you try to compete or compare, it's you're trying to be like everyone else in their voice. And then you lose insight of your own authenticity.
Yes.
And so when you have your own voice, it's so easy to talk about what you believe in, right?
Mm-hmm.
That, I mean, you've said that for years. And I just, like, I get it. Like, that's why I'm not upset at all that I had to go through this roller coaster, health, physical, mental, just roller coaster recently, because it really helped me to be where I am today. So it's going to be a journey. I mean, oh my goodness, it'll probably happen again when I'm getting to a different level. Just, you know, and I'm aware of that now.
Yeah, your awareness is incredible.
Yeah.
That you can be aware that there's something potentially happening on the physical level because you're stepping it up, mentally, emotionally, spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
That's an incredible awareness that gives you, like you said, a different perspective.
Yeah.
So I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
So as we wrap up here, what would you say is the bottom line or the theme of your biggest takeaway?
The first thing that comes to my mind is amplified voice.
Yes, I was thinking that would be such a great name for a workshop or something, right?
Right? I
Amplify
love.
your voice or something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. I want to do a workshop this fall, and I'm going to work on that this summer. And this is perfect because I just, oh, to have your voice back, ooh,
Mm-hmm. Or for the first time.
or for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, you're right where you need to be is the message coming in. So
Yeah.
that's wonderful. And I just acknowledge you and praise you for the journeying that you've been on. And this is what I always talk about when we start our business is we
Mm-hmm.
think we're going to be doing one thing and then there's an unfolding that happens. And you've been
Mm-hmm.
going through that unfolding and participating in that unfolding. And I have so much respect for that. And here you are, like fine tuning and finding even more alignment. And, the people are coming to you with their stories and what they need. And now you're figuring out how to be of service to them with your own authenticity and voice and story. And
Mm-hmm.
it's just a beautiful thing to witness and watch. And I thank you so much for going on this journey with me around the 4 levels, and that we were able to use the 4 levels to support you in stepping up into the leadership. And now all these other beautiful insights that have come forward about amplifying and voice. It's just all really, really, really great.
Oh, thank you, Bev, very, very much. I appreciate that. And I'm definitely looking forward to what is yet to come. There's actually a leadership on a council for our church that is open, and my husband put my name out there, and this lady said, "Oh, I will definitely be calling Mary." So, like,
Mary, all
so that,
these
yeah,
opportunities around leadership.
yes, and that
This is
just happened 2
incredible.
days ago.
Wow.
Yeah,
You were definitely stepping up your energetic game.
yeah, I know. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what all this means, but I'm willing and
Yeah,
willing and
let's
able to do it.
see how it goes. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Beautiful. Anything else that needs to be said or shared for you to feel complete with this process?
And now just to thank you again, Bob, for everything and the opportunity to go through this process with you. It's really, really been helpful, warms my heart, and it empowers me. So I have you to thank. So thank you
Well,
very much.
I appreciate it too. And we're going to be helping a lot of people just by allowing them to hear what this kind of a process sounds like.
Absolutely.
So thank you for your willingness to do that.
You're welcome.
Much love to you.
You too.
Thank you.
Mhm.
If there's only one thing to take away from our call today, it's how to wrap up a coaching program and making sure that you've invited people into the next step, if there is a next step with you. I always like to provide some sort of next step so that people can stay connected. You can continue to build relationship with those that you are serving. And I'm very excited to let you know that we have a program that is new, that's starting very soon. It's called the Holistic Coach Legacy Program. And I would love for you to keep your eyes and ears open for that to see if that might be a fit for you. Thank you so much for being here, for being part of this process. I know how meaningful it is to be a coach and to step into your own coaching business. I also know how at times scary and unnerving it can be because there's so many unknowns that we just are not sure of quite yet. So stay connected here. Stay connected so that you can receive encouragement, inspiration, skills, strategies. That's the intention behind this podcast, and we want you to feel included in it. So stay course, always remembering that the Holistic Coach Legacy is a path, not a destination, and wishing you the best. Thank you.